did LA do so well to just limit that? You think it was LA? I mean, I think it was foul trouble.
It's funny because you saw both Kelsey and Caitlin pipe up. I think Caitlin was about to say something to Mike when they said AB only had 4 points, and Kelsey looked like she was about to say something too. And Coach just said, "Oh, you giving the credit to LA?" I think it was foul trouble.
That look on Caitlin Clark's face right there, that's not frustration, that's vindication. Because the question everyone's been screaming about all week just got answered by the head coach herself. And the answer exposes a narrative that's been completely manufactured by people who either weren't watching the game or refused to admit what they actually saw.
Hey Caitlin, 9 down tonight, and I don't know if it was just something you saw from LA's defense, but you spoke about driving into the paint. Was it easier the way that they were kind of, I guess, defending you to find open shooters, because they were very aggressive and they kind of switched up and had different looks on you, but you still found the open person?
Yeah, I think they were really clogging the paint, and yeah, AB was in foul trouble, but at the same time, like, there was 3 people on her every single time she rolled to the basket, and I'm like.
Caitlin Clark just told you exactly what happened. Los Angeles was clogging the paint. 3 defenders on Aliyah Boston every single time she rolled to the basket. And Clark admitted something fascinating about her own game. She gets tunnel vision on Boston in the pick and roll because it works so well. So when she made the conscious choice to spray it out to open shooters in the first half, that wasn't an accident. That was deliberate basketball IQ from a player who's supposedly washed up.
I get a little tunnel vision on her sometimes because, like, it works so well, like our pick and roll game or when she short rolls. And sometimes I miss our shakeups or our spray outs, but I thought I did a really good job of that in the first half. Just need to improve that a little bit there in the second half. But yeah, I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to get our feet in the paint and spray it out. And I thought our one mores were good. We were getting it. We were finding it to open shooters. And Coach said this in the locker room after the game. Like, we haven't really shot the ball all that well from 3 in these first 2 games, but we've gotten really good looks, and they're going to go down as long as we're taking the ones that we're supposed to. That's all you can ask.
The Fever offense is generating quality looks. They just haven't fallen yet through 2 games. And there's a phrase coaches live by that applies here. Take the shots you're supposed to take, and the numbers will normalize. The percentages catch up to the process every single time. Now here's where it gets interesting, because the head coach has a slightly different read on why Aliyah Boston finished with 4 points and 0 field goals.
Back it up a little bit.
You think it was LA? I mean, I think it was foul trouble. I think it was foul trouble. I mean, she didn't get a chance, really. And I think, it's hard to get into a flow when you're getting called for all those quote unquote fouls.
Foul trouble. That's Stephanie White directly telling reporters her starting post couldn't establish rhythm because the officials kept calling moving screens and offensive fouls in the post. Boston played limited minutes in the first half because of it. So now you have 2 valid explanations stacking on top of each other. Los Angeles schemed her up with multiple bodies in the paint, and the whistles took her out of any flow she could have built. Both things are true at the same time.
It's the truth. It's a little bit of both, right? I do think that LA did exactly what Caitlin said. And of course, I think that when you can't get into a flow, that impacts you as well. One of the things that strikes me is how close Aliyah and Kelsey Plum were during Unrivaled. And Kelsey Plum, of all people, knows how dangerous Aliyah Boston is on the pick and roll. And she knows Aliyah Boston's tendencies. And so I find it interesting and certainly not coincidental that LA was able to play Aliyah Boston as...
This is the part nobody wants to talk about. Aliyah Boston and Kelsey Plum spent the entire offseason together at Unrivaled. They became close, and Plum publicly admitted she was hesitant to pour too much basketball knowledge into Boston during that league because they'd be facing each other in the regular season. Now look at how Los Angeles defended her. They knew the tendencies, they knew the roles, they knew exactly when to send help. That's not coincidence. That's chemistry from 3 months of practicing against each other on the same unrivaled rosters being weaponized against a former teammate.
For you.
C and AB to do what they do in the 2-man game. You probably aren't going to see it necessarily on the first side of the floor anymore. Everybody's game plan is ready for that.
Stop right there. Because this is the quote that got butchered across social media all week. Stephanie White did not say the Fever are abandoning the pick and roll. She said you probably won't see it on the first side of the floor anymore. Those are two completely different statements, and the difference matters. First side is the initial point of attack. Moving the ball to the second side is a standard counter against teams that overload one direction. Every team in the league runs this concept. White was telling you the Fever are getting more sophisticated, not less. They're going to disguise the action, they're going to flow into it from secondary movement, and they're going to make defenses guess. That is the opposite of abandoning anything.
About it.
Season with Chicago and had to do a lot more after the injury to Courtney Vandersloot. Brought here for her defense. Sophie Cunningham from the corner for three.
Watch the sequence. Aliyah Boston sets the screen. Ray Burrell gets caught up in it. Hanby steps to contain Clark. Now Boston is rolling. But Kelsey Plum has abandoned Raven Johnson in the corner to dig down and pinch Boston between two purple jerseys. Three defenders are now keyed in on the pick and roll action. Clark sees Sophie Cunningham wide open on the wing. She makes the read. Cunningham knocks down the three. That is the pick and roll generating offense. The fact that Boston didn't get the bucket doesn't mean the action failed. It means the action created an advantage somewhere else, which is exactly what pick and roll is designed to do.
Clark.
So here, as Evan points out, Caitlin is off ball in this possession. AB has the ball. AB gives the ball to Lexi, and then AB goes to set a screen for Caitlin, but Caitlin doesn't go take the screen to go toward the ball. Instead, Caitlin cuts toward the paint and goes around, and then Caitlin sets a screen for Lexi. Lexi uses the screen, cuts through, and now you see Lexi right here.
This second example is even more sophisticated. Boston brings the ball up. She hits Lexi Hull. Boston goes to screen for Clark, but Clark rejects the screen and cuts the opposite direction. Then Clark turns around and sets a screen for Hull. Hull uses it. The defense rotates. And while everyone's eyes are on that action, Clark and Boston are now running a real pick and roll on the weak side. Boston rolls hard. The defense collapses. Lexi Hull is wide open. Sydney Colson is wide open in the corner. Clark could have kicked it to either, but she sees an angle to the rim and draws the foul. That is not a team avoiding the pick and roll. That is a team running pick and roll inside layered offensive sets that defenses have never had to prepare for.
Pick and roll. This is AB on the block, but I just want to show you how well covered she is here.
Yeah, Mecca needs to take more shots. She's only attempted 4 shots in this one. Clark with a step, lays it up and in.
This is how you play basketball, okay? This is how you play basketball. AB has the ball here. She's got 2 bodies around her. Should she just force it? Should she just, well, she doesn't have any points, so she better put it up. She better just make it happen. No, AB is an extremely smart basketball player. You want to put 2 bodies on me? She gives it back. And Caitlin is an extremely smart player. And so what does she do? She just says, okay, you want to try to shut down AB at the expense of me getting to the rack because you think I'm one-dimensional and that all I can do is shoot when I'm going to the basket hard this year? All right, I told you on the last video, it's going to be scary when that 3.
And here's the bigger point about Boston as a basketball player. She has the ball on the block. 2 defenders collapse on her. Some players force the shot because they need to get on the stat sheet. Boston is not that player. She kicks it back out to Clark, resets the offense, and trusts her teammate to make the right play. That is professional, championship-level basketball intelligence. The obsession with Boston's individual scoring totals is a fan problem, not a basketball problem. Let me address the contradiction at the heart of this entire discourse. For the last calendar year, the narrative was that the Indiana Fever were playing slow basketball, that Christy Sides was holding Caitlin Clark back, that the team refused to run. Fans demanded a pace-up offense. They demanded a transition attack. They demanded Clark be allowed to push the ball. The Fever delivered exactly that. Through 2 regular season games, they are getting up and down the floor at a pace that's unrecognizable from last year. They are running. The t-shirts in the building say it, "We be running." And yet, the same people who demanded faster basketball are now upset that Aliyah Boston only attempted 4 shots in a single game. You cannot have it both ways. A faster pace means more possessions distributed across more shooters. It means fewer half-court grinding sets through the post. It means Boston's touches will look different because the entire system looks different. The pick and roll between Clark and Boston is still the foundational action in this offense. It happened multiple times against Los Angeles. You can pull up the game film right now and count the possessions. What's changed is that the Fever now have shooters around it. Sophie Cunningham was brought in specifically to punish defenses that overcommit to Boston. Defensive Player of the Year candidate Natasha Howard was added. The pieces around the pick and roll are now legitimate threats, which means the defense has to make a choice, and whatever choice they make, Clark and Boston have an answer. What happened against Los Angeles is exactly what the Fever wanted. The Sparks committed 3 bodies to taking away the Clark-Boston two-man game. The Fever made them pay with 11 made threes worth of open looks. Boston scored 4 points. The team won the game. Both of those things are supposed to coexist when you have multiple weapons. When the defense takes away your best action, the right answer is not to keep forcing the best action. The right answer is to find the secondary action. That is what every coach at every level of basketball teaches. The double standard around Caitlin Clark has been remarkable to watch. When she scores 40, she's a chucker. When she facilitates and finishes with 9 assists, she's washed. When the team runs, they're abandoning Boston. When they slow down, they're holding Clark back. There is no version of basketball where this fan base, or more accurately, the loud online segment of it, will be satisfied. Because for some of them, the goal was never to evaluate the team fairly. The goal was to find something to complain about. So here's the question I want you to sit with. If your starting forward gets sandwiched by 2 and 3 defenders every time she touches the ball in the paint, and your point guard reads it correctly and creates open threes for the role players brought in specifically for this scenario, and the team wins, did the offense fail? Or did the offense succeed exactly the way it was designed to succeed? Because you cannot say both. Pick a side. Drop your honest answer in the comments. Tell me whether you believe what Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston are telling you about their own basketball team, or whether you believe a clipped quote being passed around by people who watched 10 seconds of a 40-minute game. The film is right there. The Fever are running, the pick and roll is still in the offense, and the shots are going to fall. The only question is whether you'll be honest enough to admit it when they do.